morning, and my name is Yan Lam. Today, my presentation topic is my journey of becoming a global citizen. I'm a Year 4 student of BEd English program, and I'm a student resident of Robert Blackhall, and I'm the only child in family, and I like to go to travel a lot. And this is the content of my presentation. I'll first introduce the flow, and then I'll further explain the 4 events that leads me to a global citizen, which is the SRA experience, several linguistic courses that I've took, the study tour, and the immersion program. First, I think that as a global citizen, I think a few quality is very important. The first one is be curious. I think you have to always have the desire to know more about other culture, because when you know more, it means you have less misconception, and it can really decrease the the conflict that may have when you have misunderstanding. And the second thing is be empathetic. Because when you try to understand other people and think from their perspective, it is a very good way to help solve the conflict and try to accept others' culture. And the most important thing is you have to respect one another, because different culture can really be very, very different. And when you learn how to respect, you can accept new culture more easily. And this is the timeline. In year 1, I've taken the course of Introduction to Linguistics and joined the SRA of Robert Blackhall. And year 2, I've took the Introduction to Social Linguistics and Words and Their Meanings. And year 3, I've been to Poland and Czech for the study tour. And year 4, I've been to Toronto for the immersion program. First, I'm going to talk about my experience of being an SRA member. SRA member, we serve the student resident in our hall, and we have organized some activity. Registration day is the activity that we make the most decoration, and these are the decorations that we've made. And we spend the whole summer to make this. And one of the setback that I've faced is because we have to spend so much time making these decoration, and I really have a hard time with my family. My family will say like, where have you been, or something like that. And this is the point when and then we have organized the orientation camp, and and these 2 events is really hard, but only until me organizing the big reunion, I know how hard is it to be a person in charge, because this event is the event that I am the person in charge. And before, I thought organizing the orientation camp is really hard, because I'm having a hard time like balancing my family and whole life and try to work. But the problem is when I'm the person in charge, I finally find out that I'm giving my members a hard time. I tell them, oh, I don't want to work on this day, I have to go back home, I have many requirements to them. But actually, I'm being very not empathetic, because because the person in charge have to make sure everything runs smoothly and have to make sure everything go on schedule. When I have so many requirements and I refuse to work according to his instruction, I'm really giving my association member a really hard time. This is the moment enlightened me to be empathetic, because I have to think from other people's perspective. Before, I think that I'm being really reasonable, telling people that I have to go home, I have this to work, I cannot do this on today. But the problem is I did not think from others' perspective. So I learned that as a worker, I should be more considerate to the leader and her arrangement, or else things will be really hard for her. And the experience of being person in charge also teach me that I have to try to take care of everybody's need as long as I can, because this is the way that I can motivate them to work better. And what I've learned from what I've learned from this experience is be empathetic and be nice to everyone, because they're all fighting a hard war that you don't know. And I think this helped shape me as a global citizen, because as I've said, be empathetic is very important. This is how you learn to understand things from others' perspective and avoid some misunderstanding. And the second event that affects me is the linguistic courses that I've took, which is Introduction to Linguistics and Introduction to Sociolinguistics and Words and Their Meanings. Why these courses have shaped my personality as a global citizen is, before I thought English is best in British accents, and I think that other accents are all wrong. I will label them as wrong accent. But the problem is, in these courses, I've learned that different accent isn't wrong language. They're just they're from different culture, and they have their own history of development. And there are no such thing like the correct English accents. Even even we have some accent from our mother language, it is representing some kind of culture in our yes, it's representing our culture. Maybe we have to practice for the correct English accent for academic purpose, but we should not look down on any other accent, because they all represent culture and should be respected. And I've learned some new perspective on what is rights and what is valuable, and I've learned to be a more open-minded person towards other culture. And I'll talk about this part in I'll talk more about this part in my e-portfolio. And then I've been to Poland and Czech Republic for the study tour, and these are some photos of Czech and Poland. And yeah, as we can see, there are a lot of tourists in Czech, and people from different countries all come together. And these are photos in Poland, and as we can see, there are way less like Asian people. There are more European people. Why I mention this, it is because the discrimination problem in Poland is a bit serious, because people will serve you later, people will charge you extra because they saw that you're Asian, and people talk and people stare at you. And this is when I know how bad it is to feel when you're discriminated, because before I often live in my comfort zone. Even I have been to travel, I just have been to some Southeast Asia country, which I'm still the majority, and people seldom have strong discrimination towards us. But the problem is when we are in Poland, because it's not a hot pick for people to go travel there, so it's not an everyday case for them to see any Asian. So it's more often for them to have some discrimination. But even they don't mean to discriminate us, they have some bad influence on us too. For example, they stare at us and they talk about us, and maybe they thought that we don't know because they think that they speak in their language, but actually I found that you can feel it when people are talking about you. And it's really a bad feeling, and this is in Poland too. And the lesson that I've learned is to not discriminate, because people can actually tell. And when you discriminate people, it really is pushing people away from your own culture, because at first we do have some hesitation from like talking to them and try to have some conversation with them and learn more about their culture because of the discrimination problem. But afterwards we find that some of them don't mean to discriminate us, but they feel it's really new and they think that it's really funny to see us, because some of them said, oh, I've never seen an Asian here. That's why they have such reaction. It is understandable, but it is the moment that I find out, even sometimes I don't mean to make people feel bad, I'm still discriminating them. when I am treating them as some kind of fun people or some kind of strange people. And this is and also this is the and also the trip teach me I'm also the trip makes me more curious about the world, because I thought even I've been to some Europe country, it will be just a bit different. I don't know it will be so different, like the language is so different, the food is so different, and even the public transport, or I mean everything there is so different from Hong Kong. And really enlightened me to go and try to explore more places, and I want to go to more places and learn from their culture. And and then I've been to Toronto for the immersion program. This is another stage that I learned to be a global citizen, because Toronto is a really multicultural multicultural city. It's like the opposite of Poland. They have a lot of like black people or meet Asian people, or some kind of like all kind of people exist there. And they teach me that respect isn't only mean you don't talk rudely to them. It also means like you treat them as any other normal people. Let me talk about their culture first. They have festival like every week in different places about different culture. Sometimes they have Greek festival, sometimes they have Chinese festival, and I've been to a salsa festival. People dance salsa there, and they make salsa some food, and they have a parade there, and you can see that they are wearing different clothes from different culture, and they are dancing different steps, but people enjoy it. People don't judge and say, oh, I don't think this step is good or something like that. This is a very short video of the festival. So people stand on the stage and they have some music, and all people dance together, no matter they are like no matter of their skin color or their nationality. And it's really a new experience for me. Although I don't think that I'm discriminating people in Hong Kong, but if there is like on the bus, if there's two seats, one is next to a black guy, one is next to a Chinese guy, I will prefer sit next to a Chinese guy too. But although this may not be a very strong or obvious discrimination, but what I observed in Toronto is totally different. People really don't care what color you are. People really just dance with everybody around them, and you can tell them when you invite them to dance, they all dance together, and they don't reject to have some contact with you. And I really think that they are respecting one another. And there are some other example too. For example, for the food, they have a lot of different cuisines. Like this is Hong Kong cuisine. It says it's the cha chan tang there. This is Filipino cuisine, and then this is Indian cuisine, and then this is Korean braised beef, and this is Japanese cuisine and Chinese cuisine. They Korean fried chicken, Yunnan rice noodle. And the point of showing all this food is that they really have a lot of culture there, and they really have a lot of different food there, and they respect one another. Sometimes even in some Chinese restaurant or Korean restaurant, you can see a lot of different people come, like white people or any black people or anyone will go and enjoy food, and they'll say, oh, it tastes good, even it's not from my culture, I like to go and try it. And they are really exploring different cultures in their life, and also their building are really different and in different styles too. And like some and there are even Chinese on some building. And then also they respect different body type too. Like in this photo, this is the photo showing like some underwear. In Hong Kong, the model must be very skinny and all maybe all Asian. But in this commercial, try to find model from different body type and different ethnicity. Like there are black women and white women and Asian women, and some are thinner, some are more fuller. And I think this is one of the thing that shows us that they are really respecting one another. They showed me that respect is really a very high. They really have a high acceptance towards other culture or other people with different feature with them. And the multicultural environment is make you feel really really comfortable, because to them respect isn't only mean, oh, I talk nice to you, I treat you nice. It also really means I just care about my own business, and I won't judge you by what you wear or what body type you are or what color you are. They only they only like talk to you like any normal people, even no matter what you dress, or even some transgender will talk to us like really normally. So they show me that respect is really treating everybody the same, like they're really a normal person next to you. So this is and my conclusion is these four events, which is the SRA experience and the linguistic courses that I've took, the experience been to Poland and Toronto, really shaped me as a global citizen and give me those quality like be curious, be empathetic, and respect one another. This is the end. Yes, thank you.